The kind-hearted frost giant, exiled from his home in the spine of the world, sets out and travels the lands. In his travels, he meets, helps, and subsequently lives a while in Waterdeep, working with the Grey Company, becoming one of their most trusted and loved members. After the death of the Grey Company leader, who became Harshnag's best friend, Harshnag left and began wandering the world anew. The ordering shatters, and the giants begin their intrusions on the small folks of the world. That is when Harshnag decides enough is enough, and begins the act of kinslaying, in order to attempt to stop the ruin that comes when giants tread the land. In this video, I will be giving you ideas on how to roleplay as Harshnag, how the players could meet him, and how to facilitate the travel through the spine of the world. First things first, role-playing as Harshnag. It is quite a challenge. You need to play as a somber frost giant that doesn't really talk much, and as such, you need to convey what Harshnag thinks and feels and how he is through acts and gestures. Some of his acts and gestures are simply, as the book states, he does not finish off the fight on his own, but he helps the party by holding the enemies down, or when Harshnag weakens a very strong foe and then leaves the rest to the party to finish off. Whenever the party is in trouble, Harshnag would swoop down to save and help them no matter the situation. We can add a little bit more though. I read once that Harshnag could be used as some kind of a bard that tells old tales through songs, which could work in theory. He has a huge great axe, which is, as we all know, it is Gert's great axe. And that great axe could have a flute located inside that can be unscrewed from the pommel beneath and removed, which would allow Harshnag the ability to play a flute and sing a few tunes for the party when they are camping at night, when they're stuck in a snowstorm and they can't advance forward because they're not frost giants, they're not immune to the cold. So instead of just talking about his past, he would handwave, maybe he could handwave those questions away when they're traveling, as he prefers to get to the Eye of the Allfather as quickly as possible. But when they hunker down and he starts to play his flute, he can give them snippets of what he used to do before, when he was traveling, when he was at Waterdeep fighting alongside the Grey Company. He can mostly speak about the war against Tiamat and Silvery Moon that you may have added if you've seen my previous videos. This would help the party in seeing that Harshnag is someone who is actively trying to help the world around him as best he can, through his actions, through his deeds. With that being said, how would the party meet Harshnag in this campaign, in the vast open space of the north? We can have one of two encounters that can go something like this. The party are walking through deep snow as a blizzard buffets them, creating very limited visibility. And while they're walking and trudging and forcing their way through this, looking for a place to shelter and hunker down, they hear the footsteps of a giant coming from the east. They turn around, and in the poor visibility of the blizzard, they see a frost giant walking up. Is it Harshnag? We don't know. Well, let's have a look at that helmet, as they've already had descriptions of what Harshnag is wearing. Does it look like the skull of a dragon? With a perception check. With disadvantage because of limited visibility, probably not. It does not look like the skull of a dragon. It looks like a typical frost giant helmet. And then, just as the party are getting ready to engage, they hear the footsteps from another giant coming in from behind them in the opposite direction, from the west. What happens here is the giants call out to each other, in giant of course, and they begin to speak. The party has one of two things they can do. They can either hide or they can fight. If they fight, then the hidden pet of these two frost giants, the young Remoras, jumps out from the ground around the players, as it has been accompanying one of those two. The fight ensues, and the two frost giants plus the young Remoras are a very deadly combination to a party of adventurers. They can win. They can win at level 8 or 9, I think, at this point in the story. They can beat these odds, but it is very hard unless they are like 6, 7, 8 players. Yes, I'm talking about you. You know who you are. In that case, I would add another pet, which would be probably a winter wolf. So you'd have 2 frost giants, a winter wolf, and a young remoras, all attacking the party at the same time. And on the 2nd or 3rd round, when things become bleak, a rock is thrown from afar and crashes into one of the giants. As the giant turns around, the party see a lumbering frost giant crashing through the snow, creating a huge effect of billowing snow and dust and mud just flying off as a white dragon helmeted frost giant enters the fray with his great axe and attempts to help the party. After that, they rout the giants, the remoras, the winter wolf, and they begin to roleplay with Harshnag, as we've said before. If your party decide to hide in ambush, the frost giants would then begin to converse and talk about how they are searching for the kinslayer, but they can't find him. The second encounter would be the opposite of this. Where Harshnag was used to help the party, the second encounter could be the players helping Harshnag after hearing the clashes and growls and shouts of giants fighting each other. They turn around a corner in the spine of the world where they see Harshnag engaged in combat with 2 frost giants. At the same time, one of them slashes his back as he turns around, swings his great axe, smashing it into their chest as a young remoras bursts out of the ground and joins the fray, attacking Harshnag. The party then just jump straight in and help their soon-to-be friend and ally. Now, traveling to the Eye of the Allfather, you have 2 things that really need to happen here. 1, the party needs to become friends with Harshnag. And so you can't really just fast forward and fast travel this part of the story. They need to sit with Harshnag, they need to talk with him, they need to see him engaging with the world around him, how he moves from place to place, how he traverses these mountains, these extremely cold and harsh environments. They need to see Harshnag knowing how to deal with incredible dangers in the wilds, like a purple worm that emerges and ambushes the party attempting to eat Harshnag, like spotting a village of people who have become adapted to living in the snow, who have children that have been kidnapped by a hag, and as you go to defeat the hag and bring the children back, Harshnag begins fighting the frost salamander that is guarding the entrance and tells the party to head inside. There's no time. We need to save the children. Like that. Harshnag can have a little bit of information into what the frost giants could be doing, but as he's been in exile and he hasn't really stayed with them for a long time, he probably wouldn't. But he would know that Jarl Storvald is a very dangerous threat and must be stopped at all costs, which is why, or one of the reasons why, he is currently doing what he is doing. He tells the party, I am heading to the Eye of the Allfather, a temple where an oracle resides within that could help us in finding the solution to this problem in order to return the ordning to what it was, or help the world move on and stop this giant threat and return to peace once again. So while I really don't like telling or advising people to actually have a session or 2 of travel with Harshnag, it really helps for what happens and what's to come in the future. And we both know, as DMs, what's coming in the future. As they cross the peak of one of the mountains, they see the valley as it drops down below, and about an hour away, the silhouette of the temple of the Eye of the All-Father looms up ahead. A small smoke of a lit fire at the entrance rises up. And that's where we'll leave today's video, as my next video, which will be coming really soon, really soon, I promise you, it won't be it won't be like the space between this one and the last one. It'll be here within the week, where I will describe what we can do to make the Eye of the All-Father even more engaging for the players and more fun for them to explore and be in. That's all for today, folks. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And with that, this has been Gamma Rays, over and out.